If you asked a 10-year-old to design a Speedmaster, he'd probably come up with something like this. And that's why this might just be the coolest Speedmaster no matter what age you are. Hey guys, I'm Max and welcome back to Hot Ones. So a while back, I bought a Hamilton for a friend of mine who wasn't really into watches, and over the past few months, he's really jumped off the deep end and he went out and got this Speedmaster Ultraman. So a little bit of history. The Ultraman was first introduced in 1968, and it was called the Ultraman because it was actually worn on the TV series in 1971. Now, this watch was recently featured in an episode of Antique Roadshow.
First watch obviously on the moon. When did you get this one?
1968.
68, so what the collectors call pre-moon. Purchased this watch.
Indeed.
Just thinking it was an Omega Speedmaster. It's so rare, 30 to 40,000 pounds.
But that wasn't much more than a regular Speedmaster with an orange chrono hand. This Mark II Ultraman was introduced in 2018 as the second watch to commemorate Speedy Tuesday. This was a follow-up to the first Speedy Tuesday edition from the year prior, which is also one of my favorites with its reverse panda dial. Speedy Tuesday, for those who don't speak the lingo, is the name given to the recurring series of Speedmaster articles posted on Tuesdays on FratelloWatches.com. It seems that this time Omega has put a lot more thought into not just the watch, but even all of the peripherals around it. For example, I'm not sure what this box is made of, but it weighs more than a bowling ball. The watch has numerous details sure to please the watch geeks among us, and looks like no other Speedmaster. Look at this colorful dial. Most strikingly featured is a large orange chrono hand with a black stripe down the center. Other orange accents adorn the watch, such as the Speedmaster lettering, as well as the word tachymeter on the bezel. Orange squares denote each hour marker, and as a nod to the TV show, the first 3 minutes of the minute subdial is marked orange, referring to the amount of time that Ultraman has before running out of energy. To keep fidelity with the vintage Ultraman that preceded it half of a century ago, the crystal remains hezolite, and the lume has a hint of golden patina. The bezel is aluminum with a matte finish, fixing one of my gripes about the Speedy Pro's shiny painted one. Of course, the dot is over 90 here, for all the vintage Speedy nerds. The Omega logo is applied rather than printed, and the dial is stepped, giving a two-tiered depth when looked at closely. This is all housed in a Speedmaster professional case, with dimensions that we're probably all familiar with. The watch unfortunately does not come with a bracelet, as the Mark I did. However, I have seen it fitted with a professional bracelet, and I must say that it looks extremely pleasing. Production numbers were limited to 2012 pieces, referring to the year that #Speedy Tuesday was first coined, all of which sold out within minutes of the watch's release, contributing to its scarcity on the secondhand market. Though the watch comes with both a NATO and a leather strap, I have chosen to pair it with this Pueblo calfskin with red stitching from the strap tailor. It is extremely well made, and I'll put a link to them in the description. Now, we gotta remember, though a show like Ultraman looks comically unrealistic today, during its era, this creation by special effects artist E.G. Tsuburaya was revolutionary and birthed a whole new style of live-action television. Now guys, please go down and drop a like for this video. Also consider subscribing. It'll help us to continue to bring you these cool, one-of-a-kind Speedmasters. Now, if you weren't born back then, Ultraman was a Japanese television series that became a cultural phenomenon in the 60s. The premise in every episode was that Earth was invaded by some extraterrestrial monster, and the Science Patrol, a team of high-tech monster fighters, would respond. But inevitably, they would be outmatched, and in this critical moment is when Ultraman would come to the rescue. Unbeknownst to the team though, Ultraman was actually the merging of a team member, Officer Hayata, with an Ultra being from a benevolent race of aliens. When Hayata activated his beta capsule, he would transform into Ultraman. The catch being that he only had 3 minutes before his energy was depleted. So some final thoughts on this very special Speedmaster. Even as someone who has handled his share of speedies, little details have revealed themselves to me as I've had this watch on the wrist over the past couple of weeks. For example, the running seconds hand is actually modeled after the beta capsule from the show, just like the strap changing tool. And the kicker is that this tool doubles as a UV flashlight. When you shine it on the subdial, Ultraman is summoned in living color. So ultimately, in a sea of special editions, what makes this Speedmaster stand out? Well, taking all these little details together, the Speedmaster Ultraman is a departure from the monotone color scheme of the standard Speedmaster Professional. Whereas that watch is known for its versatility and often touted as a blank canvas to be matched with many straps and sleeve combinations, this one is more of a vintage-inspired splash of personality, demanding instead that you match yourself to it. For example, that big orange chronograph hand, not only playful but functional as it visually separates itself from the white hour and minute hands. Most of all, these colorful touches are done judiciously as to maintain a cohesive Speedmaster design. Nothing is overly conspicuous as to make it look like a completely different watch from afar. Something that can't be said about a lot of other special edition watches. The cherry on top are the Easter eggs that Omega has hidden within, which really shows the level of thought they have put into this watch. So in contrast to other Speedmaster variants that sometimes might feel like marketing gimmicks, this is one for the true fans. You know, I realize the Speedmaster Ultraman may not be everyone's cup of tea, and especially considering the premium it's commanding right now, but I do feel like this is the right speedy for the guy who grew up collecting comic books or magic cards, and in a sea of Moonwatch this and Apollo that, this is like a refreshing, mischievous alternative. Anyways, what do you think? And also, we should be due for another Speedy Tuesday watch soon. So in the comments below, let me know what theme Omega should use for that. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.